Hi, this is Heidi Box. I had a couple questions on the brayering card that I showed on my blog recently. So I thought it would be just best to shoot a quick video to show you my technique on how I got that brayering. You want to start with a clean background, unless you're doing multiple cards like I'm doing here. So you can brayer on the same paper if you're using the same colors, but you don't want to mix colors. You want to put your panel down square with the lines on your grid paper, and then you actually use long post-it notes and along the grid lines line up those post-it notes and use that to hold down your panel. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so I'm using 3 different colors. I have Pistachio Pudding is my lightest, and then Pear Pizazz and Gumball Green. And you're always going to start with your lightest color first. Now with these new pads, they're pretty inky and juicy, so I'm going to use a brayer, and I'm not going to ink it all the way across the brayer. I might do that. Let me see. So I start off the paper and I slowly move across the paper with my brayer. And you're going to do that, you're going to ink up the brayer and do that 2 or 3 times. Oh, I actually hit the edge a little bit, but this may not matter. So I'm actually not pushing so hard with these new ink pads because, like I said, they're pretty juicy. And I just keep brayering all the way across. Now, one thing I didn't mention is I actually have several pieces of grid paper underneath for some cushion so that I'm not picking up any sort of texture that might be on the table underneath. I'm also going to use the same pistachio pudding, maybe not brayer it all the way across, and just do one pass through on the bottom just to get a little bit darker color on the bottom. Okay, so that's it for that color. The next color, and I can roll this off a little bit and try to clean it off a little. The next color is Pear Pizazz. And so this one you can hear me pushing a little bit harder because it's one of the old pads. And I'm going to go about half, I'm going to start the same way and go about halfway down the cardstock. Sorry that my table is moving. This is a very energetic technique. If you do several of these cards, you'll build up a nice sweat. So you can consider it exercise. So I do this a few times as well. Not all the way down. Okay, and then for your third and darkest layer, you're going to use Gumball Green. Again, this is a juicy new pad. I'm just going to ink up maybe half of the brayer this time. And then just go a third of the way down. Just darken that upper layer. That's probably plenty, actually. Then this is the fun part. This is the reveal part. You have to pull the post-it notes off. Uh-oh, my post-it note bled a little bit there. I can trim that off a little bit. So now I'm going to use Black Stays On, and this is the Serene Silhouette stamp set. Ink it up with Black Stays On. Stamp into the silhouette or into the brayered area. Do that a couple of times. And that's how I made the card. You can add a sentiment, you know, halfway into the brayering area. As this card dries, because it's quite wet right now, and it will lighten up. So add a sentiment and mount it, and I added a little bit of baker's twine, and that's how I did it. I hope you go give that a try. See you next time.
Please visit me at runningwscissorsstamper.blogspot.com.